Hey, we are live, and welcome to the Killer Be Killed podcast with Damian, George, and Josh. Again, the most unlistened to podcast on the interwebs. And thanks for joining us on YouTube, my face, and wherever we are. So, a lot happening. But what we were just talking about, which was actually very good, is did George kill the scroll when he came on?
No, I turned it off. You want me to turn it on?
You just want to fucking blame me for everything, don't you? It's just like I said you one bad video and I'm like fucking condemned.
Does George even have administrator access?
No, I've been cut off. I've been cut off from everything.
He does not.
All right, there we go. There's the scroll.
So we're talking about the Kickstart lesson, and it's interesting that again, there's just the problem is there's like so much stuff on the site, but one of the things you touched on is the person your student was like, well, I don't like all the techniques, and to your point,
my point was, you're not gonna like them all.
Yeah, neither do we.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
And I think the problem with martial arts, a lot of times, I wouldn't say sport martial arts, because like wrestling, boxing, judo, it's like you find your like go-to moves that fit your body and shit like that. And then you figure out how to create situations so you could do those moves, right? Like I was an Ippon Seoinage guy. So on judo and, double leg or low bear hug wrestling. And I'm like, everything else, I'm like trying to get back. It's going to go there. So the point is to go through everything. The problem with martial arts is that, and typical martial arts is like you expect and they expect, it's implied that you master everything. And I can explain everything. I can demonstrate everything, but I'm not mastering anything. I mean, that's preposterous and unrealistic. But again, there's people who insist, well, this, that, the other thing. And dude, by the way, I've been having fun now with comments on training. I'm giving a rank to every comment. I started it today. I'm like, okay, thank you. That's a green belt level comment. And then I respond. Because I'm listening to all these things and I'm like, that sounds like something I thought in middle school, right? I'm like, that sounds like something I thought when I was a white belt or a yellow belt or even a black belt or a young black belt, before I started like really, it's like you can hear the martial artiness of this stuff. We're like, well, as soon as you start telling me, your stance is too wide or your hip, I'm like, what are you doing? Right? I'm not, you're taking it out of context and you're looking at it when I love, because I always post that picture of Chuck Liddell, and I'm like, do you tell Chuck he dropped his hand? And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, just say no. Close.
I think you put it up on the last podcast.
I did, but I want to.
I feel like you're gonna put that in every comment. It's like you just under everything you post, you put that fucking picture.
Yeah, I am. I'm like, Chuck dropped his hand, so why don't you go troll Chuck when he's not? I'm like, there's two people in a fight. It's the person attacking and the other person being attacked. Period. These guys sit here and think that, this guy, while he's being hit, can like step to the right and throw a hook punch. I'm like, that's insanity. I'm like, you've either never been in a fight or haven't reflected on what really happens, which happens a lot. I mean, I've seen guys, like do like crazy crap. And then they're like, the one thing is like, always keep your hands up. Ideally, when you're boxing or kickboxing, or you want to drive it, tuck your chin, put the shoulder, drop your shoulder, get your shoulder up. But in reality, when you're moving, you can't. If you're attacking, he's not, he is not. He's getting attacked, so he's reacting and moving,
Yeah.
which is not, mounting it. He's not mounting an offense. So, yeah, right. That Billy joke is tight, but he can hit you in the nuts. Right, right, exactly. I had one guy. He's like, again, so it's like, so now moving forward, I'm just ranking every comment, and because I know these guys are all like whatever, black belt or whatever they're training in, and yeah, I'm just going to continue to piss you off.
That's right.
So there's that. So yeah. So
the other thing I noticed in the comments, right, we've been getting a lot of these, is people are like, I'm an instructor, so and so, and it's like they're trying to flex their status,
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, yes, and like I appreciate that, because they don't want to come in and feel like, well, I'm coming from a place of experience, right? Especially on the training platform. That's I get it. People, because we're asking them to introduce themselves like there.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
That's different. But on social media, yeah, like, dude, if you have to explain who you are, just say your comment. And if your comment's got validity, it'll make sense. You don't have to. I'm going to justify my answer based on this. The fact that you're commenting makes it you're automatically suspect. So as soon as you comment, now, all right, I don't know how to get rid of Chuck. Oh no, I do. Oh, sorry. Okay, good. All right, thank you. So as soon as you comment, you're already lost, right? You've got. This is why I don't negative comment on things, because there's nothing to be gained, and I'm not, and if somebody, if you're that compelled to do that, God. So anyway,
every single time I've left any comment, be it positive or negative, on social media, I always regretted it.
Yes. Yeah.
There's only been like three. And I regretted all of them.
People are insane. They're insane. A lot of them, and they're the ones that are talking to you.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are doing it. I mean, I love, when people are like, hey, this program's great, or, I got one, I wore my backpack, that's great. I appreciate it. Please. I can't have enough of those. Don't get me wrong.
Right. Yeah.
But the
That's
people
not the comments we're talking about.
No. the people who are, that just, they don't even like look. I had one guy talk about, it was like the front choke. It's like the defense, like 30-second thing. And he said something like, well, if he blah, blah, blah. I'm like, did you just not hear me say, if he sinks the choke in and he knows how to choke, your day's pretty much over? I literally say that in the beginning. And and Tim is right. Tim, absolutely right. Love to bait folks and have fun with them and just poke at their ego, because it's fine. I mean, people call me all kinds of crap all day, and it's fine. I don't care. I'm impervious to it. I'm enjoying that I'm pissing you off.
I miss the shit we used to post with the hate mail.
I know. I should probably, I should do that again.
We should totally do a hate mail session.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I gotta go cut and paste these things, and
there's been some really good ones in the past.
That'll be. I mean, it's the fact that I've cut out drinking a lot. That may not happen for that. I'm watching these guys because there's still a part of you that gets like amped up, and you're like, asshole. Where's my all caps? I'm typing in all caps. Oh Christ. Yeah. So Yeah.
It's like
So-
it's like the mean tweets for celebrities.
Yes. Yes. It's great. It's great. Oh man. So a lot is going on, and I know I sent you guys some stuff I want to go over, but then something popped up in my feed, which I wanted we got to talk about. I don't know if you saw any of this. So apparently there was a guy playing his guitar on like this, like, I don't know, open air mall in Seattle, which is like name any place, where there's, in the world. So this guy in a wheelchair is playing his guitar. Not that guy.
Wait, can
This
we start
guy.
with the headline where
Yes,
this dude
sure.
this
Seattle,
dude has a prior incident where he crashed his car into a Trump voter regration. This is not a one
Yes.
event. This is two separate events.
Yes, correct. So
Okay,
we'll
all
get
right.
into the article. New York Post reporting. So and guys, if somebody comments, just because I'm on the page, so I'm not seeing them. So Seattle gunman Gregory Tim crashed his car into a Trump voter registration, is accused of shooting a man in a wheelchair over quote unquote stolen valor. So story goes that this guy, 68 years old, is sitting there playing his guitar and singing in a mall in Seattle, and he's got some Navy patches and a flag and his hat. And then this guy starts questioning him about his service and demands to see his military ID. Then rips a patch off of a backpack or whatever he's got going on. This guy draws an airsoft pistol, right? Then doesn't shoot it. This guy, I think, and we'll go through the article because the events are getting, mixed up. This guy has a firearm, pulls the firearm, then this guy pulls a knife, and then this guy shoots him in the chest and kills him. So,
wow.
Yeah. So
yeah, George, thanks. That's my sentiment. I couldn't get out before you.
So, a gunman who once plowed his car into a Trump registration voter drive, again, all right, accused of shooting a wheelchair-bound man. And to be honest, like, not accused. I mean, they've got film of it. I don't think this is the film. This is the national. Now I'm all of a sudden in the National Guard. Hold on, I'm gonna have to refresh this page. Forgive me for whatever is going to come up on the. There's going to be ads and all kinds of nonsense. But I just kind of want to see the. Enjoy your rascals.
I thought that was adult diapers for you. I was like, David, what kind of advertisements you getting?
Ultra fit though. At least they're ultra fit.
That's right. Son of a bitch. Nice. Respect your elders.
Where's the little Carrie conceal fucking portion?
Right, exactly. All right. So this is okay. This is like really pissing me off. All right. So don't tell me I have to go.
You're just not going to get the video, I don't think.
I'm not. I don't know who this kid is. Sorry, kids. I suck. So anyway,
just go through the article.
Yeah, let's go through the article.
Let's go back to my video with the SummerSlam fight.
Yeah, right. Right, exactly. So chaos unfolded along the Alaskan Way Boardwalk on July 31st when the suspect shooter, Gregory Tim, allegedly confronted a 60-year-old man about his military service. Prosecutors allege Tim, 32 years old, demanded to see his victim's military ID and remove the patch from his belongings moments before the shooting. This prompted the victim to unholster what investigators identified as an airsoft gun. Tim stepped back, reached in his bag, aimed a real pistol at the victim. Bystanders, of course, freaked out. Tim, only feet away, fired one round into the victim's chest. and then everybody went nuts. And the shooter said, "It's all right, everybody." It's like, "Show me your ID." He yells, he yelled to the victim with the gun down by his side. He's like, "Pull an effing gun on me." Timms then puts his gun back into his bag and shouts at the wounded victim to put his away. So in the second video, the alleged gunman then raises. I mean, here's the shot. Here's an image of it down here. So, second video, the alleged gunman raises his hands in the air and apologizes to the startled bystander for shooting the man. So, shooter was arrested by officers at the scene without incident. The victim, regular for the boardwalk, spreading good vibes, was rushed to a hospital in serious. Okay, he didn't die. According to court documents, moments before being shot by Tim, the victim allegedly pulled out a knife and then an airsoft gun. All right. Note to self: don't bring an airsoft gun to a gunfight.
That's right.
Tim's attorney argued his client acted in self-defense because the victim pulled the gun on him first. Okay, so, and then, however, King County prosecutor said Tim was the aggressor in the incident. Obviously, he was the aggressor, but, if the airsoft gun looked like a regular gun, it's a little tricky, right? This is not like, okay, forget the fact that this guy should not be he's not the stolen valor. You know how many times this guy's probably looked at somebody and been like, "Oh yeah, did you serve? Did you?" I mean, this has got to be part of his everyday routine, right? This is the same guy that starts posting for more gun control on our body armor ads, right? I mean, that is what you're looking at. So the fact that this guy starts an argument, it's an argument, right? So you're allowed to have an argument. I mean, if you're not threatening, if you're not doing, and this guy in a wheelchair, has this airsoft pistol probably just to scare people away, right?
I mean, he's in a wheelchair, and some dude's going up and ripping his stuff off.
Right. I mean, if he had an actual gun, the wheelchair guy, I would understand that. Right? You're sitting there, you're in a wheelchair. How else are you going to defend yourself? This guy is, berating you, and now he's threatening you. You can use constructive. The hell is it? It's not constructive authority, but you can give a verbal command with a firearm. I mean, depending on which state you live in, but for the most part, you can instruct him to be like, "Leave me alone, go away," right? So it gets tricky because if this guy, as far as the shooter knows, that was a real gun. He pulled the gun on me, right? So,
but according to the article, didn't you just say that he didn't shoot him until the knife was pulled on him, right? So it was the airsoft first, and then the knife.
No, I think it was the knife first. That's what now it said. They kind of if you're the one. Okay, it's up here. Wait about it. The victim. Okay, so it says just before being shot, the victim allegedly pulled a knife and then the airsoft gun.
Okay.
So this guy pulls a knife on me, I could pretty much outrun him.
Some twisted metal rolling knife shit,
right. So you're not. A guy pulls a knife on you. A guy in a wheelchair pulls a knife. Don't even bother. I can't. I'm ignoring the harsh reality. Can't even speak that this lunatic is picking a fight with a guy in a wheelchair because he's got a patch on it, and I don't even know if this guy, if the shooter is a veteran.
It doesn't specify.
It doesn't at all. So if he pulls a gun on him, I mean, this guy probably is going to walk, depending on what judge he gets. But there's what say you guys?
Depends on the lawyers. I mean, it's definitely going to go to a jury.
Yeah. But, if he thought his life was in danger, and he can,
which is a fair thing to think if a fucking gun is pulled out, regardless of it being airsoft, because I mean, for that time, you don't know, right? Like,
yeah, I think what's really ultimately going to boil down to is who's the aggressor, right?
Yeah, it's
because it's gonna go who is the aggressor, right? And so if they can establish that he is the first aggressor, then the guy in the wheelchair is defending himself with the knife, but then the knife didn't work, so then he pulled the airsoft gun, and then the other guy was like, oh crap, this guy just pulled the gun, so he pulled his real gun and then shot him, right? So there's the escalation of events there. Now you have obviously sympathy, and the guy in the wheelchair is obviously in a weakened position to begin with, so if I was on the jury and they're like, hey, this dude was screaming in this guy's face and he pulled a knife on him, and then the guy didn't back off, so then he pulled this fake gun to try and scare him away. Now I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, like if I was that dude in the wheelchair, what would I do?
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to who's the original aggressor, right?
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see the video, right? Because I mean, it was talking about him yelling, but then he physically ripped the patch off of his bag or something.
Like, how close was he? Was he jostling him around? There's all these things we don't know. And again, like,
did he try and wheel him out? It's going to
come down. That's why I say it's going to come down to the lawyers, right? Who does a better job of presenting their case in this instance?
Yeah, of course, which it always does. The video just show it doesn't show him. I mean, obviously, at some point he had to get close to the chair to pull the patch off.
Yeah,
right. He obviously backed off, right? So
yeah, so he didn't get stabbed. I mean, Tim puts, how fast was that chair? Yeah.
But I mean, what we're looking at right there, is that the actual time in which he's firing on the guy? Yes. I'm assuming. So I mean, look at that fucking distance. I mean, there's no reason why you're that far back and you feel like you have to fire off on somebody, especially in a fucking wheelchair. How's that guy going to encroach upon you and attack you?
If that guy has a gun.
Yeah.
If the wheelchair,
again, we're back to the airsoft, right? But I mean, how close was he? How far did he back off?
It's an airsoft, right?
Yeah.
A lot of airsofts look real. Or exact replicas.
Guys, I train with airsoft regularly, and I have an airsoft replica of every one of my firearms.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't have to go to the range. I practice it. I practice in my backyard. So same mechanics, roughly the same weight. They're a little lighter, but yeah, I use.
But in the moment, you can't tell.
No, especially all of my stuff is orange tips, but if you blacked it out and made it look like a real gun. And don't get me wrong, there's some kids that paint real guns with orange tips.
I guess what I'm trying to figure out, just from looking at this, right, because I haven't seen the whole video, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so if he was close, he ripped the patch off, the guy felt threatened, he pulled out a knife. So I'm assuming that at this point, Tim would have backed off, right, created this distance. If he created this distance, then why is the guy in the wheelchair at this point pulling out the airsoft? Right. If there's that much distance.
Right. And again, that's all going to come out in the case, right?
Yeah, I'd love to see the video for it, right? Because there's a lot of distance there between the two of them.
They're probably purposefully not. They're probably purposely not putting all that stuff out because they're saving it for the trial.
Right. I mean, so I just want to say, hey, Rob Olson, thanks for joining us. Tim Marshall comments. Yeah, when Tim pulled the other guy's patch off, that started the aggression. I mean, definitely. I mean, anything, even before that, Tim, even verbal. Right? Yeah. You're in a wheelchair. You're at a significant disadvantage to the rest of the world. So you've got a lower threshold for defending yourself. So that's really, everyone is a potential, really a potential threat. You're 68-year-old, you're not in any great shape whatsoever. And now you've got, so you've got to, I don't know why he's not carrying a real firearm, but okay, he figured, I'm just going to take the airsoft to scare some people away. This is the problem with doing that. Yeah, Clayton makes a great point, Clayton. Yeah, it's the danger of bluffing with a firearm. Exactly, Clayton. Yeah. Someone's going to be carrying and someone's going to shoot back. So that's why you don't. But, everybody's got a right to defend themselves. I think given where it is, I think, the shooters, he's going to see some time unless he's got a really good lawyer and unless there's something where if that, it depends also what the guy in the wheelchair says. Right. If he says,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna,
Right.
he's like,
If he backs off, the knife comes out and then the guy backs off and then he pulls out the air pistol and he's like, I'm gonna kill you if you don't get away. Now it's a problem, right?
Yeah. And even if just the mere fact that he's escalated it with a firearm, you're just, dude, if I see a gun and I'm carrying, I'm shooting you. Right. I mean, I'm not waiting to let you shoot first. I'm like, that is like, I'm pissed off. I don't have my firearm out now. Right. So, from a tactical perspective, I'm like, you're that. I mean, yeah. So this guy could be insane. He could be a danger to the other people. But the reality is this: the context in which this started is really the problem. And just circling back to what Josh said, yeah, this guy was the aggressor. He took it upon himself to, take action and impose his will over another human being. And that's what happens, right? So you're also running the risk of, I'm going to tell that guy what's what. Again, over what? It's over nothing, unless you want to. I don't again, this guy's, the shooter's obviously insane, probably should be taken out of circulation.
Yeah, and that's not going to help his case either, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Because that's going to come up for sure.
Again, that the fact that he says he doesn't like Trump is a tad bit shocking to me. This sounds like something a Trump supporter would do. I mean, for whatever it's worth, right? I mean, it checks all the boxes. You've got concealed carry. You've got a guy who's upset about stolen valor.
Yep.
And then he goes and flips the script and he's like, I don't like Trump. He made it a point to say that when he got arrested, by the way. I don't know if he got arrested for the first crime or the second crime, but yeah. So he got that, and all right. So maybe it's funny. It's Seattle. Maybe they're like, hey, we're just going to let him off with a warning. Wink, wink, nod, nod. and now, right? And they're like, oh, he's not that bad. It's like, so, yeah. I said it'll be interesting to follow this and see how it shakes out, because
I'll say his case is significantly better for him that the guy didn't die.
Yeah.
For now, yeah, he's critical, but 100%. Yeah, no doubt. So,
but I also just talking about the weapons aspect for just 1 second, whether we want to talk about real weapons, fake weapons, whatever. Every person that I've ever talked to, it's like, if you are going to carry a weapon and or display a weapon, you better be ready to fucking use it. Like, you better have the intent to and the will to use it. So carrying, bullshit fake weapons is not the way to go.
Right. I do this like a lot with edge, especially with edge weapon training, where people are like, "Whoa!" I'm like, when you shoot, I'm like, why would you threaten anybody with a knife? Right? Unless you were like a rapist. I mean,
or you've got like a sword.
Right. Right.
Which we've talked about.
Machete.
Yes. So you're either a rapist or carrying a sword, which, again, sorry, Clayton, could be the same thing. Clayton collects swords, so we're having some fun with them. But you don't pull out. You don't have a weapon unless you tend to use it. You don't have a fake weapon. Especially ever. For what? Right? For what?
I want to see I want to see a story of somebody pulling out like a rubber training knife.
Right. Just stop.
Right. Right. Or that was in an old movie. Oh my God, I was a kid. History of the World, part 2, History of the World Part 1, where they're fighting, and he's like, and they had costume like weapons, and the guy like just cuts it, takes his sword, cuts his sword in half. He's like, we're fighting with cardboard. It's like, yeah, that was just exactly what happened right here. Yeah.
I want to show this one.
Oh, so what's the pepper spray type of guns? Okay, that's great, Robert. There's a lot of them. Berna is one. That's the most popular one. Mace makes another. There's a couple. There's several different designs out there. I think Berna's is the most popular. It's like that was one of the best. Yeah, right. I agree, Tim. Even though come on, Tim. We're talking about Mel Brooks movies, Blazing Saddles, dude. Come on. You know, it was history of the world.
I'm just saying. Just saying, Spaceballs 2 is coming out next year.
Yes.
Right. But I have zero expectations because History of the World Part 2 was awful. Awful. It was the only good part was the title of, instead of Curb Your Enthusiasm, it was Curb Your Judaism. But then it was like kind of all like a lot of politically correct crap. And it just wasn't funny. It just wasn't funny. So, but yeah, Spaceballs, great. Young Frankenstein's.
All right, anyways, back to
Pepper spray guns.
No, I'm sorry. Tim's like, I bring you 15. Oi, 10 commandments. It's freaking amazing. It's amazing. No, come on, man. Come on. I'm with you, brother. That's for sure. But come on, man. The whole premise. And you watch Blazing, like, I showed my kids Blazing Saddles when they were like, I don't know, like sixth grade. It was like I showed them Fire. Like it was like from the jump, they're like, what did he just call that guy? It's like, yeah. I'm like, this is, and it was written by Richard Pryor. I mean, the whole thing with Mel Brooks is hysterical. And Pryor was like, so, let's say discombobulated, that he couldn't, they brought in Wilder last minute. I mean, it was like the whole thing. Yeah, it was good. So, so then I've got another article that I wanted.
We never finished.
Hey, David, you gotta finish your pepper spray gun, dude.
Oh, sorry. So Berna. So Berna is one. The pepper. So people know pepper spray gun. It's basically like a paintball gun. It either launches a pepper spray ball that explodes on impact. It launches an inert, which is just like a slug, which
it's
hurts.
a giant airsoft pellet.
Yeah. I'm like, I go back and forth on this thing because I get it if you don't want to carry a firearm, like for my daughter in her house. I get it. It makes a loud noise, right? There's something hitting. Yes, Clayton. Sorry, dude. I'm getting distracted with the Mel Brooks references.
Oh my god!
All right.
Turn off his chat, fucking.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. Young Frankenstein was really great. I memorized that thing word for sure. So anyway, yeah, I'm like, whoa. So
Lee, squirrel.
Yeah, exactly. So so again, like, I like pepper spray for carrying pepper spray only because you don't have to be accurate with it. You could just spray it and just get somebody to like just turn and go, and you get the hell out of there. If I wouldn't shoot a Berna at an armed subject, an armed target, because now I'm like in a shit fight, right? I wouldn't use it for home defense because if you come in my house, I can shoot you legally, right? So there's that. And I wouldn't want to mess around with anything else, but it's a good intermediate step. Understand though, if you miss, you miss, right? So, there's that.
You still got to train with it.
You got to train with it. You got to get used to it.
I think it's a
if
good
you're-
alternative for those places that are super firearms restrictive. And you're like, you know what? I just want this to have a little bit more oomph, right? A little bit more distance because you do get
Right.
distance out of it versus like
Yes.
a bottle of pepper spray, right? A little bit
Yes.
more distance and things like that, sure.
And the
yeah.
bang
Yeah.
is a deterrent, where you're, somebody thinks you're shooting at them. We have a tendency when we're looking at self-defense, we're looking at crime and self-defense. It's like everybody is like looking at it from this objective, reasonable mind, but that's not how you are. And this is 99% of the arguments we have with people who post stupid comments, because they look at, well, I'll just do that. I'm like, you're taking it out of the context of being in an actual fight, right? So, you don't know if I'm pointing a gun at you or burn it could be orange, like, what is that? Is that an orange gun? In the moment, you're not thinking like that.
No, you know they're pointing something at you.
Yeah, you're gonna come back to the same bullshit that you're gonna come back to what we just watched, right? With Tim and the fucking guy in the wheelchair. You're gonna come back to the same, legal situation if you were the one who pulls out the fucking
right.
Yeah.
If somebody puts a burner at me, I don't know if that's a gun or what. I don't know. You're doing this. I see this. If you showed me a picture of a guy holding a burner when I'm sitting at my desk or I'm like we're at a seminar or something, I'm like, yeah, it's a burner. Yeah, I know what that is. We're good. But low light conditions, under stress, thinking your life is in danger, all that shit melts away. It's gone. So, again, I think it's got a valuable, it's got it's very useful in certain situations for certain people, right? So, but
Robert, I definitely want to get one, just to have one to play with it. If you get one, post back on here what you think.
Yeah, I mean, my neighbors has a couple that I've
do
shot.
they?
It's like shooting a paintball gun.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
fine.
sure. Yeah.
It's like a little wider. I think they got a smaller unit out now. It's a little tough to, like the originals are a little tough to conceal. They're
They
like
got
a
the
full
rifle
size
platform now
handgun,
too.
which is retarded. I'm like, I don't know why.
Come on, give me like a 30 round drum or whatever, 30 ball drum. And I'm just like, pop, 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 pop.
Guys, what are we doing? I'm like, what is? I'm looking at this like, who is this for? I was like, I don't want to. Get a rifle. Like if I'm in a situation where I'm grabbing my pepper spray rifle, I should be grabbing my rifle.
Yeah.
If not, I'm grabbing my burner pepper spray gun.
So the reality is, Robert, is it was a device made for law enforcement, right? To bridge a gap, especially in riot control.
Yeah.
That then they adapted for the civilian market because there's a lot of people that want that feeling of bridging the gap, right? They don't want a gun because it's a little too much responsibility. It's too much risk, right? And actually having to shoot somebody. So they want to actually feel like they can defend themselves. And so they grab the burner and then they have that and then they go and then they feel like they can shoot it, right? But it gives them that separation between the hand to hand too, right? And so they're like, well, I don't also want to fight somebody, you know what I mean? So this gives me that kind of distance. So that's really the niche market that it falls into. People that don't want to have a gun, but don't want to worry about hand to hand. And can it fill that gap? I mean, kind of, sort of, but Damian's right in all of his points. So
yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're carrying your vehicle, again, right. I think it has a place, but just know that, the Hard to Hurt YouTube guy tested a burner. Okay, it's worth a watch. I just I said it's okay. I said I've shot them.
I know they'll shatter bullets from like a couple hundred meters, and that's pretty cool. Shatter windows. Yeah, they'll shatter windows from a couple hundred meters, and that's pretty cool.
Like house windows.
No, like car windows.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it says on the website.
I didn't know. I don't know about that. That's a lot.
I was like, well, that's cool.
Maybe the rifle would.
So I think it said the pistol is good to like 100 meters, and the rifle is good to like 150, 200 to shatter a car window.
I don't know if that's shattering a car window.
I feel like we need to buy one and test this.
I'll just go next door. Yeah, I'm like, you know,
Next week we'll be live from next door.
When we're visiting in September, we're borrowing it.
definitely. Okay, so next up, okay, this not this guy, not this. Okay, this article completely pissed me off. So this is about active shooters, and it says this is CNN. It says they may have mental health problems in common, but that's not what's behind violent attacks, experts say.
Okay, so what's behind the violent attacks?
Yeah, and whom are these experts? Look,
guns, and so I'll get right to it. The guns and psychologists who, are not taking responsibility to being able to identify or pinpoint any. So according to the article, they say experts can't predict extreme violent behavior, right? And then they put it back on gun manufacturers for making guns available and gun laws. When in reality, to say that this is not a mental health issue is insane to me. We all have guns. There's like hundreds of millions of guns in the country.
Oh, yeah. So there's the paragraph right there. No mental health system is able to catch such rare and explosive crimes, but the potential solution is one that many politicians won't have the stomach to address, limiting access to guns.
Oh, fuck.
It's just like if you can't pick someone out who's demonstrated violent behavior, who you're meeting with and treating, that, what good is your profession, to be quite honest? And I'll speak on, after Angela and I lost our second baby, long story, that's 6 months. We met with somebody. She was great. She helped us, get communication tools and talk about stuff, and it was good, man. There was something, there's something to it. But the fact is, if I'm suicidal and I'm having violent fantasies, and you're treating this person, and you can't figure out, oh, they're just role playing, or this person shouldn't have access to firearms, right? You shouldn't have access. So what happens if someone goes stabbing someone? Oh, they have access to knives. The reason why people use guns over knives here is because guns are easier. Duh. You can take your car and drive it through a crowd, which happens quite a bit. So we're not banning cars and driver's license. So it's just, the issue is the gun is, it's easy to conceal, easy to carry.
That's why we should ban them.
Yeah, exactly. Often we tell the mental illness story if it's the most obvious, fits our stereotypes. If we focus on only that, then we're missing all the factors. It's obvious that if you don't have if I can't kill anyone with a gun if I don't have one. That's
wait. So, I like the paragraph below it. Having a mental health problem is not predictive of mass shootings. Many have symptoms of mental illness. That's definitely true, but that's different from arguing that saying that mental illness caused the mass shooting. So if mental illness doesn't cause mass shootings, then what? Then mass shootings are caused then by the guns, obviously.
Yeah, again, completely passing the buck on the fakakta industry that is psychology. I'm sorry.
I mean, can we go to the fact that the gun is just a tool? It doesn't do anything unless somebody touches it.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've done a demo. It's even in the training where we put a gun on the floor. I'm like, you can leave this thing here, and it's not going to do anything until somebody picks it up and shoots somebody with it.
It's just a paperweight.
Yeah. So the fact that these guys are like, well, mental illness isn't the cause. What is? So you're saying sane people want to go shoot children? This is what you're telling me. You're not mentally ill if you want to kill children and people en masse.
I think what they're trying to say is if you want a gun, you therefore have a mental illness, so therefore you shouldn't be able to have a gun.
Well, that could be true. I love this. I love this one. Violence is not listed as a symptom of mental health issues. Well, it's not saying everyone with mental health issues are violent, but there's something to the person who wants to kill children and people that have a mental. There's something wrong with them, dude.
Yep.
Did you? So I just watched 1984 McDonald's shooting in California. I just watched a video on it, and guys, like the guy who shot up the McDonald's called the local mental health facility, right? And he sat there. This is nuts. According to his family, he called and waited. They said they would call him back in 2 hours because the person who took the call felt that he wasn't in stress and said he wasn't like gonna, he didn't say that he was going to go shoot up the McDonald's or, kill himself. She didn't feel it was an emergency. So they put him on the 48-hour callback list. He sat there for a few hours. No one called. He's like, well, I guess I gotta go kill some fucking people. Picked up his guns, strapped up, kissed everybody goodbye. His family thought he was going to the range. And he went down to McDonald's and slaughtered like everybody. And again, of course, at the time, like law enforcement didn't know really how to respond and handle it. So by today's standards, we were just rushing in and clipping dudes. They're like, does he have hostages? They couldn't really see in there. It was 1984, right? So, but there you have a guy who literally was calling for help. Again, not that, I get why the receptionist at the, mental health facility was like, oh, the guy didn't sound, he sounded a little upset. I don't want to bother the doctors. But it's just coincidentally that he didn't receive mental health. He felt he needed it. And then he, was the first mass shooting after the girl that Don't Like Mondays and Walt Whitman. Charles Whitman. Sorry. And was that Kent State? No, it wasn't Kent State. That was the National Guard. It was Texas, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the one in Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you've got an entire industry that, again, the gun people are, and we rightfully so. And I'll put myself in that group. Or like how we treat, these people are mentally ill. It's not normal behavior. It is escalated for a reason, and you blaming the guns. And the guns have been around forever. Tom writes, there are more people that have federal firearms licenses in America than there are a number of gas stations in the U.S. That's right, because we're a green country, Tom. Sorry. I had to do that.
Yeah, how many charging stations are there?
Right? Right? So, yeah, it's just a whole, this is a complete cover your ass propaganda bullshit. And if you can't determine, like I said before, if you can't determine if you're spending hours with somebody, you're treating them, and if you can't determine if they could have the potential for violence.
Yeah, you're in the wrong fucking job.
What are you doing? What you're doing doesn't. What are you doing?
But I mean, these are the same people now who are like, it's okay if you want to be a cat. It's okay if you want to be a piece of furniture. We all have to validate that.
Right.
Like,
yeah. It's exactly. They're freaking.
You know what this whole article reminds me of? This whole article reminds me of Gary Paulson, the guy who wrote Hatchet and stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
Okay, I love those books. But he wrote this book, and it's called The Rifle. And I read it when I was probably like 13 or 14. And I loved his books. I probably read Hatchet like 50 times.
Now I got to read Hatchet.
And I'm like, okay, great. And so then I read this book, and it's short. It's maybe like 90 pages.
I could definitely read that. How big's the font? Big font.
We'll,
You know,
we'll
big
send you a
enough, big
magnifying
enough,
glass. Don't worry.
big enough. There's no pictures though.
Yes. Then he saw the rifle.
Okay, so anyways, the whole story is about this dude, about this rifle or musket really that started in the Revolutionary War and then travels to modern day, right? And I'm reading the story. It's like this whole journey of this musket, right? And you're just kind of like, wow, really cool, right? And then the very end of it, I about burned the book because the last chapter
Spoiler alert.
is
Yeah, I know.
Spoiler alert,
Here's what I'll read
everybody.
this.
I'm just gonna save you. Everybody watching the show, me to save you the time. Don't read it.
It's 90 pages. Though,
We've just saved you 90 pages.
It's not that much time, but go.
It's true. Okay, so this musket is just sitting over this dude's fireplace, right, as a display item. And this one little spark travels out of the fireplace, ignites the musket, it shoots around and kills the neighbor kid.
Oh shit.
And then the last like 3 pages is this guy being like, I wish I never had guns. Oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever. Like, I can't believe this killed this kid, blah, 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 blah. Like going on and on and on and on.
So the
my
gun was
gosh.
loaded since the Revolutionary War.
Since the Revolutionary War. And nobody ever bothered to check it. No, but aside from that, the likelihood of that even it's like literally the whole book, right? The whole book is literally the confluence of all the worst possible like percentiles all coming together at the exact same time.
Of course,
you know, of course, right? And even at 14 or whatever I was like, this is preposterous.
Yeah. What?
And that is the mindset though of the anti-gun liberals, is that the gun itself will kill people.
Right. And I get it. The only purpose of a firearm is to injure and kill. I get it. A knife has an alternate use. A car has an alternate use. I freaking get it. You know, but we all have firearms. We all take care of them, and we all have we're all responsible. But let's knock on wood, by the way, kids. You know, when you're looking at this stuff, this shit, you know, people with mental illness are much more likely to be the victim rather than the perpetrators of violence. Studies show. And if a person with mental health issues hurts anyone with a gun, it's most likely themselves. This is not wrong, I'm saying, because look, I mean, you're homeless, you're mentally ill, you're out on the street. I get it. You're suicidal. I get it. But what you're not doing is focusing on the issue that you raise in the article, which is active shooters may have mental health problems in common, but that's not what's behind violent attacks.
And we're not talking about at all what those commonalities are.
No. What are they?
Right. It's not specified.
What medication are they on? What have they been diagnosed with? What's their freaking... It's out there. They have it. You know, but they don't even bring it up. There's not an infinite amount of active shooters in the world, let alone the US, right? So it's very easy to study, and it's been done. You know, I've taken Grossman's course twice, and it's been done about, you know, what SSRIs they're on, you know, what warning signs they gave. Usually it's violent media, violent fantasies, and like there's a, you know, then there's a bullying component to it. There's you know, obviously
sociopathic or psychopathic tendencies.
Yeah, obviously access to firearms, you know, that's a fact. So, you know, there's also, what about explosives? The guys in Columbine couldn't, you know, they had explosives rigged up. None of them went off. But there's always, you know, sometimes they'll have, you know, secondary devices set up. So,
I mean, it comes down to, if they want to actually cause harm, they're going to find a way to do it. The gun, like you said, is just one of the easiest tools.
It's an easy tool, right? And,
you
know, as a parent, you know, I kind of know, look, I would imagine somebody could slip past the cracks, but for the most part, you know, you kind of You know, it's like, dude, where are your friends? You know, what happened to your friends? Who are these guys you're hanging out with? What are you guys doing? What's in your room? Screw you. Um, until you're 18, I'm going to have unlimited access to your social media. I'm not going to know that you're not going to know that I do, but I do. You know, I'm going to know what you're, you know, who you're texting. I'm going to know what's going on. I'm going to have your pass keys.
But I mean,
I'll have
you're a
everything.
responsible, caring, loving parent. A lot of people don't have that, which
Right.
is true.
Yeah. Fact. So, and that's where you're looking at, you know, that failure. And then look, this industry over medicates the shit out of people. So, you know, you want to numb them so they feel happy or don't feel any pain, or, you know, that's not how you get through life. Life is hard. Life is pain.
Yeah.
So,
And then
you know, you
while
gotta
medicated, they
deal with-
might be docile, but if they come off their medication for one reason or another, there's almost always drastic mood swings.
Yes.
Absolutely. And what else is it doing to your chemistry? Right? You're
Yeah.
introducing this foreign drug, and for an extended period of time. It's like, you know, as a physician now, hey, listen, follow the money. The more prescriptions I have you on, the more money I make, because that's an annuity that keeps paying. So, you know, if I can get you treated, when I was a kid, it was Ritalin, and I'm like, you know, you would say I have ADD, but oh, what did Tom say? No, but you know, it's because I get bored. I'm like, I need to be engaged mentally and physically. Why is it that I can, you know, train for like 3 hours, you know, get ready for a sport, or, you know, work on a motorcycle or something where I'm just there for hours doing that, but you want to make me sit in a classroom and memorize some numbers, and I'm like, really not doing. I'm not, you know, like, okay, I'm done. I remember my my first grade teacher kept notes on me because she would hand out we used to call them ditto sheets. There's the ones you used to sniff back in the day, the age of myself. So she'd hand out these worksheets. She's like, okay, once you can do your worksheet, you can go to playtime. Or go to the, you know, go over on the carpet and do whatever the hell we did. So I'd always be like, okay, I do like one thing. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Are you done? I'm like, I don't know, I'm done. I want to go do this. You know, it was like that kind of stuff. So she would take notes about how, you know, Damian was this, that, you know, and she was convinced I was going to prison, which, all right, there's an argument there. But my dad looked at her in the meeting. He's like, what do you do all day besides take notes on my kid? Right? And she didn't really have it in it. Funny story about her, and I'll end it there. I'll end it here. Is my fourth grade teacher was okay. So that woman happened to be a lesbian. Not happened to be. She was a lesbian. I like the term "happened to be" because it's like, ooh, okay. So she was a lesbian. She was dating my fourth grade teacher. I'll say her name because she was cool as shit, Miss Martirosian. She probably passed away. You were awesome. Shout out to you because of this. She had my brother and sister. So my brother's like 6+ years older. My sister's like 4 years older than me. And my brother was in like 9th grade. He had won this like little, at the school carnival, they had like this little autograph doll. Like it's a signature stuffed animal that you hand out and your friends write on it and stuff like that. So he got it and decided to name it Dildo. And he wrote Dildo in big letters on it, right? So we have show and tell. So I love my brother. I'm a huge fan. So I bring in
Dildo.
this, and I didn't recall this until I was like out of college when I had this epiphany about what happened and how cool this woman was. All she said was like, we're passing it around, and she's like, what's his name? Dildo. And she's like, oh, that's a very interesting name. Who named it? I'm like, my brother Phil. And she's like, ah. And that was it. She passed Dildo around. I put it back in my book bag, and that was it. I didn't have a conference with my parents. I didn't bring my brother in. The cops didn't come in. I didn't have a fucking, a lineup with fake dicks. It was nothing like that. It was me and a stuffed animal, and it was like perspective, man. And she was just like, so cool. She could have made a huge deal out of it. She's like, "Oh, your brother." Like, that's on brand. Next. Okay, we're gonna get through this. Nobody knows what the fuck about. It's just a bunch of.
She's like, "Oh, those Ross children."
It's just a bunch of fourth graders saying the word dildo over and over again. And she must have been fucking dying because I know she probably had a few. And I'm like, holy crap, man. It was great. I was like, again, like, I thought about it. And I'm like, oh my God, I almost drove down there to just be like, you're awesome. That was awesome. And yeah, that was cool. So on that note, so yeah. So if you guys are training on the platform, again, you can first look down, link to Bodyguard. We got a free master training class. We're soon going to be releasing the free everyday carry class. If you're training with us, schedule your Kickstart lesson. We're starting to roll that out now. We had a few people sign up now. I don't want to overwhelm these guys. It's really going to be
overwhelm me. Bring it.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're going to be rolling it out. We just made it to elite members this week. I got to get the schedule from Connor. We're bringing out to the rest of the membership. But yeah, take advantage of that. It'll get you oriented. It's really what separates us from a lot of what's out there. We're just not just showing up, hey, here's some videos, go. We're real instructors. This is what we do. And yeah, that's it. Guys, anything?
I can't follow up after the dildo, so.
Yes, you can. I know you can. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. Comments were great. Again, always like and subscribe. I think we got like a few more people listening this week. We should be good to go next week. Again, everybody, thank you again. Until next time, train honestly.